This meeting is being recorded.
Hi, this is Mary Sagstetter from AbleNet and excited to share with you accessible classroom ideas. We have 50 ideas in 50 minutes, not to overwhelm you, but definitely to make sure that you have a lot of ideas on how to engage, not only in participation activities, but also in accessing content for your students in your most challenged classrooms, life skills, and or your ASD or structured classrooms. So our goal is working towards independence and active engagement with students. Often we do things to and for our students. Our goal is to make them independent. With the use of assistive technology, that can be possible. So what we're going to do is looking at ideas for your classrooms, things that you can do. Please take a look at all of the technology in your classroom. Love to have you use the AbleNet technology, but we know you have other pieces of technology as well. Let's get our students ready to communicate, participate, and actively engage in real world content and experiences. Let's consider them the readers, the writers, mathematicians, and scientists that their peers are, providing them opportunities to engage in those activities, but under what conditions is it possible? How do you change it? How do you modify it? How do you bring in the technology so that they can have the same access? For example, starting out through the day, and that's how we're going to run through this session, ideas throughout the day. Get your pencils out, get your pens out, get your iPads out, whatever you're taking notes with. Take some of these ideas down. Again, please, this is not meant to overwhelm. It is meant to get you excited about the possibilities. I would love you to have the goal of walking away with 1 to 5 ideas that you could put into practice when you're with students next. So here's Philip. He's using this step-by-step with levels. Every time you touch the top of this device, it will play a different message that you've recorded. As you see on the screen, there's different messages that go along with what his activity is here. The goal is that he is an interactive participant in getting himself ready for his day. In the classroom, we have Miss Julie, who is asking every student, right, to provide that greeting. So she has recorded a greeting. A student gets to activate that. This device is called the Talking Bricks. It has 10 seconds of time. There's a magnet in the back that can be placed on your door frame. The student can say hello or hi, whatever Miss Julie's recorded, and often the students are very excited to hear that. And then she says to them, where would you like to go next? They might say in, or she might ask the question, where do you want to go? And they'll say go in. So moving them from a 1-message communication to a 2-message communication. Also, for that note page that you're taking, wherever you're taking those notes, please write down the words Action Dictionary and iBooks. You can go to iBooks and download the AbleNet Action Dictionary. It gives you alternative access method solutions. You'll see AbleNet technology. You'll also see other objects or items referred to from your classroom to help the students gain that opportunity to experience what you're asking them to do at that time. At this time, I also want to make reference to our products are seamless through your K or pre-K classrooms all the way through your transition classrooms. So it's just about the message you're recording and the opportunities you're providing. And again, please download the Action Dictionary. It will provide you with a number of ideas and opportunities for students to participate all day long. Still thinking about the morning routine, and routines are a great time to think about providing more communication opportunities. So organizing and structure space in your classroom helps students with predictability and understanding where to be in place and space. Providing a talking brick, and again, it does have a magnet, but you can put Velcro on the back, allows a student to activate that message and understand what instruction they have at this particular area or what they or where they are. So it could be that you're at Johnny's cubby, or it could be labeling the cubby. It could also be labeling the instruction of hanging up the coat and coming to sit in the circle. As we're looking at our classrooms and they get together in the morning, we usually have a morning meeting time that we go through a number of different activities. One thing we could do is share current events. Now, I will ask you to check and see if your school is having other students give the announcements. Please see if the students that are using voice output announcements could be at the library giving those same announcements, but just with a recorded device. Also think about doing this within your classroom where you can share current events and information. Depending upon the level of your students, right, or what you're thinking about, I was going to say that here, daily news from the area. I think actually all of us could, no matter if you're elementary or secondary, we could follow that high school with the events or the scores that are happening. So if you are thinking about the football team, we definitely could talk about the scores that our team had and their team had. And then if you put a big hundreds chart up in your room or give each student a hundreds chart, you could laminate it, give them a wipe off marker, or it could just be projected to your smartboard. We can start to circle those numbers and then have a little activity in the morning of more and less or greater or less, who won, right? And why did they win? They won because they're a higher number. You can visually see that. So you build your activities and then also support it with communication. Many of our students have vocational activities. One is making birthday bags, so shredding a little bit of colored paper, putting it in a lunch bag, and then putting in some objects or items that we found. It might be a can of pop that we know the teacher likes, or a bottle of water, things that are inexpensive, but yet celebrate that birthday and provide a vocational task for our students. So we may talk about whose birthday it is. We also may talk about the different projects or reports that we're doing in the classroom. So for example, it may be that the vocational project this week that everyone working on is counting out the good bucks. And you'll see that later in our session. Also, anything notable or worthy from home can be placed into the messaging on the device. So having the device ready with the overlay allows you to record and change out daily what the messages are that students will be responsible for providing to the group. And again, this would be a job either daily, or you could give that job as a weekly job to a student. Don't forget about the Pledge of Allegiance that can be recorded into the step-by-step. Also thinking about attendance. Take those activities that we might do ourselves quickly and fast and slow them down and give them to our students. Make a student be the spinner. Have then the opportunity of a student to be the finder or locator, picking up this picture and taking it to the student if needed. And then once the student is identified, have the student say, I'm here, or that's me. Again, working on core language. Thinking about students that are at different levels, we would also want to include those students that are reading their name, or we could do one overlay one day with picture and the other day with their name. Again, we want to bring text to our students in every way possible. Also, we think about students that can have this job of being the spinner, students with motor challenges, or students that motorically can get to the device. This is an alternate spinner. I love it because you can lay it down, place objects on it. As you saw, you can turn it around and it has, or the overlay around, and it is blank for anything you want to do to match your items that you're working on in the classroom or instructional activities. It also has dice on the forward face of it, which allows for games. And we're going to give you some more ideas for that as we go forward. This is the idea that I was mentioning to you about having the student be responsible for saying that they're here. We can model from a core board that 2-message communication activation. Yet when we take a look at this, we're going to bring that one symbol down and then write the or record the message into the device. We also can think about how to do this in a 2-message device way, where we would have I'm here on one and then not here on the other. So for students that are not in the classroom, we can still have that response that our particular student is not here today. It's better than to look at the inverse of things rather than the yes and the no. Yes and no needs to be taught. So if you're using yes and no right now, please check back with your speech therapist on the correct way of introducing that to students. It is a higher cognitive level skill to be able to answer yes or no, or choose the here or not here. So it's a match or it's not a match would be another example. And again, check with your speech therapist. We think about predictable activities during the day, and we know that we have calendar time that includes the month, the day, and the year. You also are talking about some students build the calendar out. Other students are just responsible for that individual number. All of that can be recorded into the step-by-step. Pending your activity and what your goal is, we can activate this 19 times or one time to get 19 into the blank. Students can also be responsible for building the boards and having your classroom set up as classroom ready and accessible. We can go ahead and help our students create the calendar. It also helps them work on number sense. So think about the things that you have in your classroom and pair them with other activities. So again, we have this set up on the board here for students to interact with. We also have a board that can be used as a center. You could use this during morning meeting, but at any time a student could go work on the center and revisit those skills that we talked about in the morning. And we know that there's different times as far as in our classroom that we might be looking for a 5 or a 10-minute period of time that we'd like to keep students engaged but not start a new activity. We could then offer a center activity as well. Or this could be your actual activity for day of the week, weather and current events. thinking of how we start our day, and part of our morning opening often is what's for lunch. One way that we can provide a predictable structure in the classroom is to have an area where you're going to post the lunch menu. For some, you may not want to post the whole lunch menu. You might just want to go ahead and type this out each day so that it actually was larger text or font so the students could read it. For others, this might be okay, and then you could just put a box around this. So if you laminate this, that wipe off marker, that could be a job of a student to go ahead and mark what day it is. You could record this in, and then anyone in your classroom, if you ask anyone what's for lunch today, anyone can come up and read this. This is the oldest Big Mac in the world with a white base. These devices are great for used in center and placing them around your room so you can keep them recorded. Anything like this that's old, broken, or worn out, AbleNet has a product replacement policy, which means that we give you money off of new. So just check back with us. We also think about students that are in need of voice output devices as we go through these activities, and being able to tell us that it is sunny out today. So we can use a voice output device like the Quick Talker 7. It is a 5-message device, amazing sound quality, and you can lock every level. It allows us to go ahead and provide the opportunity to offer this to a student to access, to make a choice, so they're going to discriminate. We also could model when they're using just a single message device to show that there's more options. If you just have picture symbols, that works as well. When you're using a step-by-step, we can at any time on a step-by-step record one message with the right answer, so students can say that, and we can pass this off to each student to be able to answer that would need that voice output device. Again, we can make a talking bricks that has the magnet on the back. I'll go back. It comes in a set of 3 and hooks together. We can make that into one message. Also, we can look at a I Talk To. I Talk To is 2 messages, as you see on the front. It has 3 levels. The nice part is that there's an area to store all your symbols, so you now can start to help students discriminate. I also like to practice what we are working on with our students, so not just keeping it in one opportunity of talking about the weather, but where's the center that then would allow the students to go ahead and match that symbol, and then also be able to have a text-based opportunity. So every time we're using a picture symbol, even though you have a tiny word on the front, please go ahead and turn it over and write that word as large as you can on the back so our students can be introduced to that word. Our students will start to read just by having the word in front of them. So by sight, they will start to pick up words if we provide them those opportunities. Also think about stepping it up. Don't just stay with identifying the weather for the day without really taking a look at the temperature. Again, get that hundreds chart out and wipe it off from what you were working with in the morning with looking at the scores of a teammate or the team of the school. And now put in the temperature of today, of yesterday, predict what tomorrow will be. Pretty soon, when you take a look at this, you can also make a line on that hundreds charts that shows what might be warm or cool. Again, really helping the students solidify this information and understand that. You could also bring that in before I start. Oh, sorry, we already saw that. You could also look at that hundreds chart and talk about clothing that was at the different types of weather, right? So you can bring all of that in at one time. Let's move into reading. Let's move ahead. We're out of morning meeting. We've done everything. We've got our students ready for reading. Let's use that step-by-step to start on that first part of the activity. Look at your ELA opportunities. Those of you that are using, potentially could be using unique learning systems. Every time you go into one of the lessons, it always talks about introducing vocabulary words, your topic words. All of these can be recorded into this device. On the back of this device, it has a button for record. This is also the button to lock the message. So as I record every vocabulary word in, and I have my card with the picture symbol on the back, I can go ahead and pass the device to the other eagerly awaiting students, and it will have the same message. When I bring it back, I will go ahead, activate this or press it lightly, and it's going to move on to the next message. So I have all of those messages recorded. For those students that are, let me go back a moment. For those students that are in need of a switch, meaning that a student that you are picking their hand up and placing it on the top of the device, we need to put in an external switch and figure out how to mount that. You'll see a few examples of this coming up. So that's the switch port, and this is for activating a toy appliance. Again, you'll see an example coming up of that shortly. So as we're thinking about reading, there's vocabulary, there's reading the story. So reading the story is something that can be printed out. So again, those of you that have PowerPoint books or your PDF books that you're printing out for students, please record them into the step-by-step. The student can touch the top, and as the page is turning, read that story. You can also have messages of turn the page if someone else is reading, and you'll see coming up, we have a few more opportunities to engage in literacy here. I would like to show you Alex. Alex is reading a story. Pay attention to how she has the device on her tray, her timing. There are two things I want you to watch for. The teacher mentions hit the thing. We need to identify what the student's doing. So the message here should have been read the page, not hit the thing. And also we want to make sure we give a student enough wait time to process our message. I love this example. I love the interaction, but I know that no matter what we do, we can always improve. And those are two areas I would like to see different or have you go forward with.
This is me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
She's gonna do it fast. You gotta turn fast.
Alex, how old are you? How old are you? I am 14 years old. Yeah.
That's good.
When is your birthday, Alex? When is your birthday?
Hit the thing.
When is your birthday? My birthday is in the month of May. Beautiful. It's a beautiful month, too. It's one of my favorites. What color eyes do you have? What color eyes do you have? Hit the switch for me. What color eyes do you have? Alex, what color eyes? Look, what color eyes? Tell me. I have brown eyes. Yeah.
So again, just thinking about our students, giving a little more wait time. Alex could activate that device the first couple times. She may have slowed down. There may have been something going on where motorically she wasn't able to get there yet. She was still processing. So we need to mention to her that we'd like her to read the page and then wait. Use the not counting to 10 as an opportunity to give yourself a break for a moment and watch her, and then use that for her to be able to start to process and get motorically ready. Remember, the book walk should be part of that opportunity for students. Whether you're going to record each one of these sentences that match the page in a step-by-step and one student has the job, or you're going to record it past the device, or you've given a student their own device and you've recorded it, it allows the students to actively engage in a picture walk or a book walk, sometimes labeled differently. Again, engaging in literacy. So I'm staying on this path for a few more slides. Repeated line books, please write down aacintervention.com and then books with repeated line. You can search that online and it'll come up with a full list of repeated line books. Again, this is not a new idea. It's an idea that allows students to participate. If you haven't used it, please try it. It's so much fun. So the student gets to read the line that's repeated in the story. For example, in The Hungry Caterpillar, on every page it will say, but he's still hungry. You can have intonation and prosody. You can make this really fun as you're recording these messages, which is also engaging for students. Please think also about bringing in more messages during this time so students can learn to discriminate. One message can have that you're going to be having the repetitive line. The other could be turn the page, and the other could be an informational piece about asking a question. That could be what we call anytime there. So anytime I'm there, that question would be able to be answered. So for in Hungry Caterpillar, we could ask, is the caterpillar on that page? And then we would identify that. Again, that ties back to main character. I'm sure you can come up with more. Here, I do have another video for you to look at. I like to show this. I also want to identify that we probably should have, or whoever was doing this, should have had the student in their shoulder straps. Also, the device should have been secured. We're doing the repetitive line with a big book and with nice visuals, but we still need to make this a little bit better so the student has more opportunity to engage and really learn this. So take a peek.
Hippopotamus. It's your turn. Get your hand up there. here. Flamingo, flamingo. Good. Hit it again. Flamingo, flamingo.
So again, just thinking about some things here and with your students, positioning is extremely important. He was able to activate that device, whether it was intentional or not, when it was in a different position. And there he didn't activate it fast enough, so that hand was picked up. Again, the wait time is huge. We're not racing, we're journeying. Enjoy the journey with your thinking about having that concrete, semi-concrete, and abstract opportunity for students is amazing. So an I Talk To works great for that. All of your main characters can, yes, be displayed on a battery operated toy. Just go ahead and cover it. Once this is chosen as far as the book you'd like to read, take the other symbol off and put turn the page there. Now you have two opportunities, one to turn the page, one to either read the word pig in the story. So you can change this out, and every time you run into the word pig, that could be the student's opportunity to read that word. Again, I mentioned earlier, you'd see an example about the battery operated toys. Take a battery operated toy, bring this main character symbol ahead, attach it to it, and now on exactly the right message, the billy goat will knock the troll off the bridge. So you can engage in dramatic play. This will be access to your teaks when you're thinking about summarizing, retelling a story, and also working on main character. So many ideas, so many ideas. Main character, again, we think about this for students that are engaging in higher level literacy. And I'm going to go forward and then I'll come back. There's a site called Sherlock Center. If you just type in Sherlock Center, you can find adapted literature books like this you see on the screen with all of the text and the picture symbols. So the idea would be that we would have Tom Sawyer. Again, we can go ahead and record the word Tom here, and we can go ahead and have turn the page. Now my interaction in this story can be how you'd like it to be, whether I'm projecting this on a smartboard, whether I printed it off, whether it's on the PDF, and then the student's gonna also be able to turn the page, because with a device called the hitch, you can plug a switch in, and when you plug the switch in and have it in the correct location, you can access the click that you would need to turn the page of the PDF, thereby turning the pages of the story. So the student can be totally in charge of turning that story. You also could record this into a step-by-step and someone else could read it. So we could have that interactive activity. You also could go ahead and just use this text in the way to identify the main character. So because of the picture symbols, students could come up to your whiteboard, circle the main character, Tom Sawyer. We could identify and record Tom onto the device. And then we could say, where's Tom? Where do you find Tom again? And Tom again, and Tom again. So we can make this really a nice interactivity with your step-by-steps as far as reading, as far as with your hitch, with turning the page. We can also have sticky notes for questions. So when you put a sticky note on the page of the book, the device question would be, is Tom on that page? Again, drawing attention to the main character. Go back to your teaks, figure out what you're working on, and then overlay that into your lesson. Please take a look now at Kalal. He is going to be using the hitch. This is an opportunity for him to read a story. This is some software that the teacher has. She's going to ask him to go ahead and start it. She'll put the mouse here. He'll activate the switch and it will click. Then she'll move the mouse here and she'll let her hand go. He will then have full independence in reading this story with the switch.
You want it read to you? Okay.
My name is Mark Twain, and I'm going to tell you a story.
Go forward.
Okay, you need to turn the page, Kalal. It's right here. Thank you.
This story is about two boys named Huck and Tom.
Go forward.
It's your turn to turn the page.
And she was not saying hit the thing. So I want to identify, we need to really watch our language. Tar Heel Reader is an amazing resource. If you don't know it, it is a free collection of easy to read books. It will work exactly like you just saw Miss Kathy and Kalal. When you get a book set up, or actually when you find a book, there's nothing to set up, you just click in. You put your mouse over on the corner, go ahead and give the student the switch and they're able to have that book read to them because they are recorded already, if you will, or I should say they use the synthesized speech. opportunities. You can also write a book and make anything that matches with your content. And I think that's the beauty of it. Also, I know that we are providing worksheets for our students. Make sure that we provide them the opportunity to partner scan. So as I'm pointing to each one of these as what would be the answer. So this story is about balloons. It's about hurricanes. It's about milk. The student's device does not have all three answers. Obviously, it only can contain one answer if it's a Big Mac. You have, that's it, that's the one I want, stop, whatever that is that you've been working with students on, and they can stop on the answer. Even if they get it wrong, you go ahead and you circle it, because if they chose milk and the stories about hurricanes, you can teach from this and you can say, I understand why you chose milk. It looks like there's some white milky substance here, but this story is about hurricanes. Let's get that book and check it out. So we would do that level of interaction with worksheets with our students. If we're not, then you have to really question the validity of worksheets. Here is an example of interactivity with worksheets that are projected from Miss Kathy's classroom. I just love this example for students to come up and do worksheets in a different way other than paper pencil. She does have a smart board underneath this, or a whiteboard, and a screen. She projects it. She pulls the screen down because she likes the opportunity for the students to get the feedback when they tap on this for the answer.
Thank you. Owlets. Let's turn on the heads.
All right.
Owls have the best blink of all birds. What do you think? Jade? Hearing. Hearing. Can you go find the word hearing on here? Hearing? Where's hearing? Very nice. Thank you.
And I love the celebrations. Math is another area during the day that we can help our students engage in. We can think about students using a device, one device. I want you to notice that the teacher just goes ahead and puts the actual vocabulary card on here. No worrying about printing out a picture symbol and putting it under the cap. She's just moving on from that. But take a look at the three students working on the word match, all at 3 different levels, and how she organizes her devices and changes them out for what we would call a level 1, level 2, level 3. So someone who really is just errorless, moving to making choices. Oh, well, let me go back. You didn't see that.
Adamaris. This is red. This is red. They match. This is a match. Adamaris. It's a match. It's a match. All right, Adamaris. Match. Put in. Good job. It's a match. Olivia. This is red. This block is red. They match. All right, Olivia, are you ready? All right, Olivia, you're going to find a match for me. Match. Very nice. What color? Red. Olivia, do those match?
No.
Do these match?
No.
Do these match?
Yes. What's it?
It's a match. Good job, Olivia. Are you ready, Tommy?
Yes.
We are talking about blue. Ooh. Whoa, he ran away. Get him, Tommy. Blue. Are you ready?
Yeah. I got
Okay,
blue.
we're looking for blue. If you see a match, you tell me. Are you ready?
Yes.
This one, this one. Tommy, are those a match?
No.
No. What about these?
Yes.
What did you say? It's a match. It's a match. Good job, Tommy.
So we can use the same device in different ways, still modeling the language for everyone, and I love to see that. Let's take a look at some ways now of using the step-by-step in other activities in math. All students required to sequence numbers. Not everybody can do it the same way, but that's okay.
Okay. You tell me when to put the number down. Or what number to put down. Go ahead.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10.
Good job. I like how you stopped at 10.
Speed counting.
Awesome. Okay.
And then we look at students that we could use the device, having other tools. That 100 chart I love. I think they're amazing, just to give everyone one to keep in their desk, because we can use them for so many things, for number identification. Here we can go ahead and count by fives using that. We can also go ahead and hook up the power link, which allows for access to anything you plug in, such as a blow dryer that can blow a ball and knock over the pins that we could have all those numbers on. We could then have a place on the table to put them all. When they're all located in the right spot, we can go ahead and read them then with that step by step. Also thinking about concepts. So let's see another idea for math.
Ooh, spin. Nice. Wow, what'd you get? Touch it. Nice. All right, Patches. Show me on. Yes, very good. Nice work, Patches.
So motivation, engagement, opportunities for students to interact with games. We want to make sure that we have the devices there. Want to think about all of these opportunities that we can interact with students and increase their speech skills just by having the games available. So the alternate spinner comes with a number of games that identifies items that, or I should say games that you might have in your school or at home, ways to go ahead and set them up with different opportunities. We just need to make sure the student that's a spinner also has an opportunity to be part of the game at some point. We don't always want them to spin, but things that you're doing currently in your classrooms that you could just get set up and also then incorporate your voice output device. So one day you could have the verse on a step-by-step. The next day you could spin with the spinner doing that same activity. It's really about students being able to have control. Activities can't happen without the students activating the device, and that's what puts them in a position of power control. Think about what the verbal script in your head's going to be. Record then those messages for the students so they're able to go ahead and go back to back, which is really, when you think about this, it's conversational turn taking. What do you need? I need some help. What can I do for you? Please cut out the whatever that is, right? Okay, now what? Give it, glue it on my sheet. Whatever this action is, that's the important thing, is that we have that student. This is the ultimate cause and effect, and learning that conversational turn taking. Let's take a look at another opportunity here using the spinner and combining the iTalk2. Take a look at it for a student who really has some difficulty with that word retrieval, but once the model's given, he's able to do that. The idea here is that we're going to identify, make a discrimination between a person or a plant, and then do a little math activity about building our graph here to see how many people or plants we chose during this particular time in our center-based activity.
Now it's Giovanni's turn. Push. Here. This once. 5. Miss Jackie.
The duck.
Is she a plant?
Yeah.
Or person?
Ducky.
Plant or person?
Duck.
Which one?
Person.
Yeah.
Miss Jackie's a person. On our graph. Nope, right here. Try again. Here. No, here. Here.
Yeah.
Good job.
So exciting with his word approximation, with the positiveness of the paraprofessional. I just love that video. Don't forget about lunch. Everyone should have the opportunity to make a lunch choice, whether it's with the device with multiple messages or you're going to bring in an individual message. You can set your morning up with just those two main opportunities for students. Again, doing some type of a bar graph. Get all of these food words. They're so important because we see and eat food all the time and order food. You can make a number of different symbols, as I mentioned, and store them in your iTalk2. Always think about, these devices. Oh, they weren't there. Sorry. Let's put them here. There we go. Devices that the iTalk2 or the iTalk4 that we want to bring into the lunchroom with us. We can have words like more and all done, or I want, help, all done, more, and we can place them on any device that we are working with the student so they can communicate during lunchtime. Withhold items from the student. So let me get this. Withhold your items that are hard to open or not withhold them, sorry, let them have them and then let them struggle so they can learn how to efficiently use the word help. Also, for some other students that may be able to accept this, or we could start to teach it, what else could we do that would be extremely fun? So after all this is done and they're ready, how about if we have just another device that says something like this, that gets everybody really excited and engaged with communication? Don't forget, we can store all those symbols in the iTalk too. Thinking about other times of day, daily activities with getting your meds, being able to participate in school events, singing a song, telling a poem, singing one verse of the song while someone else sings the other, being able to participate in music class. So if we take a look here, and I'll show you this particular music teacher is putting on, and I'm going to fast forward through this a little bit, show you that the mount needs to be put on, how we would attach that with the device. It looks a little different now because we have different mounting plates, but the idea is that Amber's going to have this. They're going to play a little bit. He's going to reposition it because she can't get to it. And now it's her turn to be part of the song.
Hello, everybody.
I want you to watch for her smile.
Music time. Hello, everybody. Good job.
There you go. That's what we're looking for, that opportunity to participate. We need to remember the mounting. We need to make sure that we get the right tools if we're going to mount on a tabletop, or the right tools if you're going to mount in air, which is so important for our students' access method. And we can't be holding these devices all the time. In the final minutes here, I want to go through Accessible Classroom and really think about what it means for our students to have some vocational experiences. This is Miss Kathy. You're welcome to reach back. I will be providing this PowerPoint. She has come up with just a number of things for her students in her classrooms. Often, you know, we think about the PowerLink being used for eating or cooking with food items, but here she uses it for having every student look at it before they start their job. So she'll have the light, and it's accessible to all. Activate the switch, the light turns on. And the question is, am I ready to work, right? Am I ready? Do I look good? Am I ready to do my job? So every student goes and looks in there, and then they get prepared. Here, we take a look at the opportunity, yes, to do those cooking activities. That is a job because they now have, it's more culinary experiences. They are now being chefs in the classroom. The wording, even the vocabulary is changing. We have a dishwasher. We also have the folks that will be cleaning up after the end of the day. All of these items can be plugged in. There are jobs in the classroom of making and different projects. So again, we are experiencing different opportunities. I mentioned to you earlier the idea of the good bucks. Her classroom is a variety of students with different motor needs. We work with a student that can count out the 10 good bucks. Or 5, I should say. It's 5 good bucks per packet. Then we work with students that need additional supports to be successful and independently successful, right? And that's what we're looking for. And other students that will not be successful without voice output and a support person, but they are part of that activity. Again, thinking about real jobs, working with we work with shredders here, we work with copy machines. What can students do? So this is a shredding activity. Please note, it will turn around. Oops, sorry. When I play it, it'll turn around, and it goes so fast that you're going to be like, you'll have to watch it because it'll be over before it starts. But watch the excitement and this accessible activity where any student can come to this center and access the shredder. Oh, and I did it again. I have to hit play. There you go. And they are so proud of themselves here. One more time so you can see it. Our students, no matter what ability, have an opportunity through the use of switches to do the same thing everybody else does. Those coffee carts have been something that folks have been doing now for a few years, depending upon if it's that or just a Keurig running around to the classrooms, whether we're looking at watering plants. Any student can do that by filling the cup, bringing it over, but we want to provide this to all students and working within the horticulture area and now being a gardener. Also thinking about asking teachers if we can deliver their mail. Students can work together with voice outputs to give messages. Here's a little bit better opportunity to see how things can be set up for folks. But again, independence, responsibility, that is what we're looking for. One way to think about helping yourself figure out your daily activities and how you can bring in the tools that you have is to write down your activity, write down think about the student first. So don't fill in the tool. Think about the student and what they're going to do. So in attendance, who's going to be the activity leader, meaning spinning that spinner, who's going to be the finder or the locator. And then you go back to what do you need based on these students. And then you'll have that ready and available in your work area. Same thing for morning news, as we talked about. What are we going to need? We're going to have, oh, got the wrong name. Sorry, this is Jenna. Have her in current events. I'd switch some of my pictures out, you guys. And then we're going to have Samuel do the weather report. We need to have the step-by-step and the super talker for these two. So again, thinking about a simple grid, schedule activity, student, go back to AT tool once you look at their access needs. Sometimes they won't have a tool needed, but you're still going to have this set up. Other students will need tools. AbleNet has 101 ideas, and I'm happy to say that you have them available. They can be downloads, or you can reach back to me if you'd like to get these. I'll also send them ahead with a handout. Ideas for sequential, ideas for single messages. And just remember that AbleNet now has an app. So if you can go ahead and take a look, you're able to download this app. Take that QR code. Now you can find an opportunity to FaceTime with us and get everything right at the tip of your fingertips. Thanks so much for your time and attention today. I look forward to you having more ideas. I hope you look at your sheets and you have 1 to 5. Again, you're not supposed to be overwhelmed. You are supposed to be excited that you have 1 or 5 ideas to get started when you're with students next. This is Mary Sagstetter from AbleNet signing out from 50 Ideas in 50 Minutes. Have a great rest of your day.